Welcome one and all to the Russian Grand Prix. We're just a stone's throw from the Georgian border here at Sochi as we get ready to begin the race that served up an absolute cracker back in 2015. A last lap collision between Kimi Räikkönen and Valtteri Bottas sparked controversy in that race, so let's hope the racing is just as tight today. Situated just 3 miles from the Georgian border, the 3.6 miles Sochi Autodrome has two notable overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then turn 13. 18 corners in total here, 12 to the right and 6 to the left, and it's an average lap speed of around 130 miles per hour. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Great work from Lucas Weber yesterday sees him start from pole, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Vettel, Nico Hülkenberg, and Gasly, Leclerc, Hamilton, Perez, and Lando Norris. Butler, Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Mr. Monaco, Grosjean, Albon, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Daniel Kvyat. Räikkönen and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 16 of season 3 of the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory career mode, where today we're here back for the Russian Grand Prix. And this has been a track so far in the HAAS Road to Glory that has suited us quite well. We've had a couple of decent results around this circuit, so hopefully today we can continue that form. I'll be honest, this track is actually one that I do quite enjoy on the F1 games. I'll admit in real life it is literally just a car park. It is an awful racing circuit in the real world, but I do find it quite fun. It's quite a hot lapping track in my opinion at the end of the day. But yeah, looking into this Grand Prix though, tyre wear hopefully shouldn't be an issue. It is looking like a fairly simple soft medium stint race here today. But we're ready then on the grid for the Russian Grand Prix. The 5 lights are coming on now here in Sochi, and it is lights out and away we finally, my lord, that was a very long hold on the lights, but we do finally get going here for the Russian Grand Prix. Reacting fairly poorly to the lights in the end there as Alexander Albon gives us a big punt from behind as we head down towards come on there. We get a warning for that as I felt he was going into a bit of an impossible gap there, but contact already as we head into the first braking zone of the Grand Prix there. Grosjean completely going into the back of Daniel Ricciardo here, and now as we head through turn 3 there, you can see everyone's going to get caught up behind the damaged HAAS car there. 3 places around the outside as we head through turn 3 there, and yeah, quite happy with that move off the start of the Grand Prix there. So we have made good progress in the opening sector of this race. They're already up a couple of spots after what was quite a woeful start and one of the longest runs in towards the first braking zone here in the Russian Grand Prix circuit there. We can see heading down through sector 2 here. It's going to be really critical that we try and stick with the back of the top 10 here. You know, we finished the top 10 of the last couple of Grand Prix. We're slowly but surely building up a bit of a groove here. I definitely feel, you know, in the latter stages of this championship, we can be squeezing into the points side, hopefully more often than not, in the later championship rounds here, before obviously we see the big rule changes as we head into next season there. We can see now on to lap 2, and we were sticking to the back of the Mercedes of Daniel Ricciardo here. You can see, using the ERS, we have very good top-end speed around this circuit here, almost 215 miles an hour as we head down in towards turn 1 there. But Ricciardo trying to play it defensive there. We're going to try and get the traction on the exit of the corner there. Have a look up the inside as we head down through turn 3 there. But Ricciardo is going to give us an almighty squeeze. There's a big amount of contact between the pair of us there. And Ricciardo, I'll be honest, there wasn't really much I felt we could have done in that situation to avoid that crash. By the time I realised, you know, he was trying to give us the almighty squeeze there. Not really much we could have done there. From that camera angle, it kind of looks like we just sent him to Narnia. But yeah, coming through the corner there. Ricciardo, I think I don't know if he just didn't spot us, you know, whether we were in a bit of a blind spot or what there. But yeah, really That could have been game over for the pair of us there in that situation, but somehow we come out of that with only a little bit of front wing damage there, only a bit of a knock on the end plate there. So that's hopefully not going to cost us all too much in this Grand Prix here, as Ricciardo even gets shuffled down to the rear of the field there alongside my teammate Roman Grosjean there. But you can see now, over the next couple of laps here, we'd slowly just be finding ourselves in a little bit of a window here, but onto lap 6 we go there, and Hulkenberg in the Racing Point is out of the Russian Grand Prix there. So I mean, they're trying to hang on with Red Bull in the Constructors' battle at the moment, but it is not going to be Racing Point in the luck this weekend. Now, it's the safety car has now been deployed. This has obviously been recorded on the new patch there that came out a couple of weeks ago, so we are hopefully going to see a few more safety cars in this career mode here. But yeah, the safety car deployed here in the Russian Grand Prix there, and that is going to be quite interesting to see what happens in the second half of this race here, because we are going to take the gamble here. We're going to pit onto a set of the medium compound tyres here. Like I said pre-race, tyre wear isn't really a big issue around this circuit here, so hopefully this can work out all right for us in the long run. You know, we can try and keep the tyres in good nick. It'll just be a case of finding out, you know, where we come out after we make this pit stop here. A 2.1 second stop there, very, very quick from the HAAS boys there. You can see Perez as well seems to be the only other driver that has taken this gamble here, and we are going to basically shuffle ourselves pretty much to the rear of the field there. The only person we were ahead of was my teammate Roman Grosjean here, who's on the set of the hard, so perhaps he's trying to go right the way through to the end of the Grand Prix there. We'll have to wait and see as to what does happen to my HAAS teammate here. Still yet to score points in Season 3 of the HAAS Road to Glory here, but as we head on to the end of lap 8 here, it is going to be green flag racing and lights out, and away we go once again. The green flags are now out, and we are once again racing here at the Sochi Autodrome. 21 racing laps to go, potentially, on this set of the medium compound tyres here, so we'll have to wait and see as to how far these can go in this Grand Prix there. As you can see, not worrying about too much at the moment here. We don't need to, you know, rapidly make up progress in the opening stages of this stint there, but Perez, Ricciardo there, I think for the second time in this Grand Prix, getting someone completely ramming up the rear of him as he heads through turn 1 there. Mercedes, they're clearly braking a little bit earlier than others are predicting there, and we're going to have to go full send on Perez before he costs us too much time through the high downforce area at the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2 there. So going full send on the Williams man there. The hand of rage came up in that situation as well there, but we had to make that move work. We had to make it stick as soon as possible here, because Perez is just going to fall off the rear of this group very, very quickly here, and hopefully my teammate as well, Roman Grosjean, will try and follow us past him as well here. But on to lap 11 now we go. Obviously all of these guys now on very, very much worn sets of rubber here. We're now activating the DRS on the run towards turn 1. They're 221 miles an hour behind Daniel Ricciardo there, almost going to the back of Kvyat as he actually gets held up, does Daniel Ricciardo there. So the second time this Grand Prix we've made an overtake on the Mercedes there. Luckily this time around he gave us a little bit more room than first time there, as you can see now all over the back of the Toro Rosso here, and a bit of a train starting to form. They're just extending inside of the points, if I'm not mistaken here. I think actually 30, no, it's only up to a P11 there, so unfortunately still none of these guys looking like they're going to be fighting for points in this Grand Prix. But I mean, McLaren at least now they're on the board there as we get up the inside of Danny Kvyat there on the switchback move as we head through the next couple of corners there. He tries to hang us out to dry on the exit of the corner there, but we do make that move stick, and we're now up into P15 of this Grand Prix there, so already a couple of places made up on this lap, and I mean, we should normally have just about a pace advantage over most of these guys there, as you can see as we head down the back straight, now trying to look up the inside of Antonio Giovinazzi there. All three of us locking up as we head through the final sector of lap 11 here, as Giovinazzi can't quite get the power down on the exit there, and we're going to go full send up the inside of the Alfa Romeo there. He does try to swing it around the outside there. We're going to cut him off on the inside through one of the final right-handers of the lap there. And yeah, we are now up into P14 of the Grand Prix here. Can we make yet another move stick? 4 for 4 in this Grand Prix perhaps there, as we're now in the slipstream in the DRS of Lance Stroll in the McLaren car, as well as we make the long run down towards turn 1 there. Up the inside of the McLaren we go there, and yeah, nothing he can really do in terms of defence there. So yeah, now back up into P12 of the Grand Prix, as it appears the first few leaders are starting to make their stop in this race. Or I think that was one of the Renaults there. Might have been, I'm not too sure who that was, in all honesty. I'm going to guess Hamilton, but it could very easily be Charles Leclerc in this race there. As end of lap 12 now, this is where things are hopefully going to get interesting for ourselves there. Everyone now is starting to make their pit stop here, and as we head out on to the front straightaway here, we're already back up into P4 of this Grand Prix there. You can see Max Verstappen, I think he was in the net lead of this Grand Prix there, but I mean, we're not planning on pitting again in this race here, so it's going to be certainly a fight for position here. I don't think we're going to be able to do much to defend from the Red Bull there. It's end of lap 13 now at the halfway stage of this Grand Prix. We don't get to say it too often in the HAAS Road to Glory career mode there, but we are now up into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here, and this is exactly what we needed at the moment. Give the sponsors a little bit of light as well there as we head down in towards turn 1 there. But Verstappen, he is not very far behind us here, so it's going to be interesting to see just how long we can hold on for here. You know, I'm not really going to be able to fight him all too much in this race there. It's on to lap 15 we go. He's already half that gap now. It's just down to 1.4 seconds here in this race, so we're not really going to be able to do much in terms of defending here, just soaking up the experience. You know, it's like I said, it's not often we lead Grand Prix in the HAAS Road to Glory there. As you can see now, end of lap 15, it wouldn't take Verstappen long, and yeah, straight up the inside, around the outside into the braking zone there. Like I said, he's on a much fresher set of rubber than ourselves, so we're just going to try and, you know, focus on our own race here, bring home some good points for the team here as we head in towards the second half of the Grand Prix there. And Verstappen, he looks like a man ready to take home his first Formula 1 World Championship here. Still a young age of about 24 at the moment here as we head through the final couple of corners of lap 15 here. As you can see, Sebastian Vettel now will be the next car closing at the gap to ourselves there. It's down to 4.5 seconds here, but by lap 19, it was pretty much down to nothing as we head down in towards turn 1. The Mercedes still in the back of that racing point there is just an absolute missile still down the straight there. And Sebastian Vettel now up the inside, locking up a bit there, a little bit of contact actually between the pair of us through turn 1 there. But yeah, he's now up into P2 of this Russian Grand Prix here, and at the moment we're just slowly but surely getting cycled back down the order here. But it's just going to be a case of damage limitation. You know, I was fully expecting this to happen in this Grand Prix here, but we'll keep at it, we'll keep strong and see where we can end up in this race. There is not even a lap later here, Pierre Gasly in the other Red Bull car there, up the inside, doing exactly the same move as Max Verstappen did a couple of laps ago there. Just about gets ahead of us before we go into the yellow flag zones there, which is actually the sister car of Alexander Albon out of this Russian Grand Prix there. So not a good day for Toro Rosso here, but at least it wasn't the homeboy Danny Kvyat there out of the Grand Prix there. But yeah, now down into P4 there, the chance of a podium is all but gone here, but 6 laps now to go of this Grand Prix there, and it was Hamilton in the Renault here who was looking to try and make a move on ourselves as we head down in towards turn 1 there. You can see Hamilton, he is still going to be able to slip up the inside in that Renault car there, despite how strong our top end speed was around this circuit here. And yeah, we're now down into P5 of the Grand Prix here, but we had the Ferraris of Bottas and Weber now would be the cars behind us in the latter stages of this Grand Prix here, and with just 1 lap to go now of the Grand Prix, Weber and Bottas there are both really starting to close down towards us here, but they still don't quite have the package that is good enough at the top end here. So we're just over a lap to go here. I was more than happy to try and hold on to this. You know, there was a big gaggle of cars forming up behind us here, both of the Ferraris there, the Renault of Charles Leclerc there, and I'm guessing the Williams of, it might be Perez, it might be his teammate though, I'm not 100% sure here, of Lando Norris as we head down in towards the final few quarters of the penultimate lap here. 1 lap to go of the Russian Grand Prix. Can we do the impossible and try to hold on from the Ferraris of Lucas Weber and Valtteri Bottas? Because he was struggling a little bit out of the final corner there. We've given ourselves an opportunity as we head down in towards turn 1 there, and Weber, we play it defensive there, he's not that brave on the brakes there, so clearly, you know, the tyre wear starting to neutralise in the late stages of this Grand Prix there. But Weber now thinks about having a look around the outside through turn 3 there. Can't make that move work. We do hold on and live to fight another day here, and now that means Weber has really only got 1 big opportunity in this Grand Prix, and that'll come at the end of the back straightaway here. We've seen cars make moves on us already in this race down that section of the circuit here, but as we head now out onto that back straight, Weber, he isn't getting close enough at the moment there. Is he going to be able to get close enough as we head into the braking zone? No, he is not there. So Weber and that Ferrari car just doesn't have the top end speed as we head through the final couple of corners of this Grand Prix there. Verstappen comes through to make it 3 in a row at the moment there. He is on fantastic form as we head in towards the late stages of this championship there, but through in towards the final few corners of this Russian Grand Prix. We don't score points too often in this championship, but it's 3 in a row, a celebratory donut as we cross the finish line there. And yeah, we do come through for P5 at the end of the Russian Grand Prix. They're a strategy masterclass, if I do say so myself.
So as they climb out of the car, the Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly well-deserved win. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Now let's discuss, Ant, who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula 1.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull pull further ahead in the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula 1. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the Russian Grand Prix there, and it was Verstappen fastest lap and the race victory at the end of the day there. A fantastic job by him, and yeah, looking like he's just building up that title advantage at the top there. Gasly did actually jump Sebastian Vettel in the dying stages of that race to come through for P2 there, so really, really big points scored by Red Bull there. 44, the maximum they could take home from a GP weekend there. Ahead of Sebastian Vettel in P3 there. Hamilton in 4th ahead of myself there, so 2 Brits in the top 5. All 4 of us actually inside the top 10 there at the end of the day. Ahead of Weber, Bottas, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris and Devon Butler finishing out the point scorers there. Ahead of Sainz, Stroll, Grosjean, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Kvyat and Perez there, with Albon and Hülkenberg there. 2 different cars at opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of the championship. They're both dropping out at the end of the Grand Prix there. But yeah, quite an interesting race then in the end. Surprising actually to see Devon Butler picking up those points ahead of the McLaren cars there. You know, it looks like Stroll and Sainz in a little bit of good form after the Singapore Grand Prix last weekend out there. But in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Verstappen now holds a 1 race margin over Sebastian Vettel there, who is still his main title rival there. And I think slowly but surely other drivers are slipping out of the title fight there. Pierre Gasly in P3 ahead of Hülkenberg, Hamilton, Weber, Charles Leclerc, Bottas, and we re-jump Lando Norris there in the Drivers' Championship, now tied on points with our fellow Brit there as we fight inside the top 10 there at the end of the day. Ahead of Perez, Devon Butler, Stroll and Sainz there with Ricciardo, my teammate Grosjean, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Albon and Kvyat there still yet to score points. And no changes in the Constructors, we still hold on to P6 in the fight there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here and you do want to see more of the HAAS Road to Glory career mode there. But yeah, we will hopefully be back next time out for the Japanese Grand Prix.